Hover City. I was a huge fan of the somewhat DIY nature of the film that gave it this kind of distancing, almost that David Lynch effect where something's just not quite right, but you can't quite figure out what it was. And it made for a very dissonant, unnerving experience, which is exactly what I think they're looking for. And it added this element of danger and kind of a punk quality to it as well. And uncomfortability, which is what we get from these characters, what we get from our lead. This feeling of just wanting to change, wanting to be better, feeling not quite right in his own skin, and seeking that somewhere else. And I think that's a really apt theme. We see it so much on social media of how to be better, how to improve yourself. It's all about the self improvement, outer outer achievement rather than dealing with maybe what is making us feel inferior or insecure. And maybe it is these pressures, or we need to find some peace within ourselves. But I thought that the tension and the buildup throughout the piece was great. There was a great level of irreverence that I thought was really important, even just in how raw the machine or contraption would always look like. I thought was great, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I wanted to know what was next. It felt very unexpected and like anything I've seen for quite a while.
This was something else, really unique, disturbing in a really fascinating way. It was as hard to watch as it was compelling to watch at times. Yeah, just a really interesting concept. Um, for the amount of resources that appeared to have gone into it, I think it was, executed pretty well. Everything being done as in such a, in one space more or less, with one person just demanding our attention the entire time, but through these different personas, it was really an interesting sort of experiment that way. And really interesting sound design too, right from the jump. We're just treated to some really, again, really bizarre and interesting sounds and sound choices that really just gelled well with the piece itself. Really well done.
So, if there is a word to describe this film, is definitely original. I felt like I was diving into someone else's mind with all of our unique and unexplainable mental dynamics. I enjoyed watching it for sure. It felt like a ambitious and imaginative story with a fresh concept, that although definitely modern with sort of like a YouTube aesthetic, and kind of editing. It definitely had a like a like lap kind of 90s nostalgia feel, especially with themes of masculinity and self-development that felt yeah, very relevant. As I said, while the pacing and cinematography might have felt a bit clunky at times, the creative vision and the exploration of such deep and personal themes made it a captivating experience. And yeah, I was really interested to see where this was going and where it will go. Thank you.
Hover City is a horror film that pretty much dissects, man versus self. He is breaking down and, having this inner dialogue with his inner demons, but also falling into, this sense of going in this machine and operating this type of futuristic technology, this obsession with sex. There's an elongated scene that is, just having this sense of lust, just being overcharged almost. And you get to see this character essentially have this sense of duality, and you get this angel on the shoulder and this kind of equilibrium of the devil that perches and whispers these shadow thoughts that essentially drive our character into an ultimate set of madness.